and Troy Provo Heron.
Hello, everybody, and greetings from the BlueTick Tavern in downtown Maryville. I'm Mike Edwards, the Greenfield Gunner, along with Donnie Moore and Marcus Fitzsimmons, and this is the Goatee Sports Page. The countdown is on to the fall football season, and we're going to the whistle blows. And now let's set today's lineup card, sponsored by Blunt Partnership. The University of Tennessee Sports Report, sponsored by the Cherokee Group, and the Murphy's Bobcat SEC Notebook lead off with Marcus Fitzsimmons and Donnie Moore. Today we'll weigh in on Tennessee's orange and white spring football game and throw in some other UT stories. Donnie Moore will update us on high school scores and news from around the area, and then Mark It Down with Marcus Fitzsimmons, sponsored by Mandy B. Street Realty, features Maryville High School soccer. Head coach Nick Bradford will join Marcus. The Anderson Lumber Company Player of the Week segment will be in the lineup. Donnie Moore returns to discuss headlines from around the sports world before the Boyd Sports Spotlight shines on Major League Baseball and the life of Brooklyn Dodger pitching great Carl Erskine. And finally, the Bowl Prediction segment closes out today's show as our panel looks into the future of Caitlin Clark. Marcus Fitzsimmons, first of all, nice to see everybody back again here on another Saturday morning on the Goatee Sports Page.
That's right.
And we've got Tony Iruli here with us this morning, and ball basketball legend Tony White's here, and former Alcoa basketballer Dwayne Easter, and we got a full house here.
We sure
morning,
do,
and a lot to talk about. Tony has followed the Vols all the way through the NCAA tournament, and he's back since he made all those trips. So we're anxious to talk to him. But we've changed the show up a little bit here this morning. So Marcus, we're under a time restraint, so to speak. So we're going to go with the Mark It Down first, and then we'll come back with the SEC report and the Tennessee report in the second segment. So you got some great guests there, Maryville.
We do. We have good guests, and we're being accommodating because we're that way. But it's also Farmers Market Weekend, Parks and Rec is going on. We got lots of stuff to. We're just thankful Maryville could join us because, guys, I don't know if you all were downtown last night, but I certainly was. I saw a lot of guys in tuxedos and lots of fancy dresses, so I'm going to assume it was prom night. So the fact that these guys were willing to get up and come in this morning is greatly appreciated.
Well, I wasn't over here. I was in Knoxville dealing a car, and I couldn't convince anybody over there that I had NIL money. So I was out of luck with them over there. It was a real struggle.
Oh, man. Well, Coach Bradford's joined us, a couple of the Rebels this morning. Coach, thanks for coming in. I see you got three with you. Kind of introduce who you brought with you this morning.
Yeah, a few of our seniors. You got Seth Mead, Luke Wilcoxon, and Thomas Tisdale. Seth's a forward for us. Luke's more of a defender, midfielder, and Thomas is a midfielder and a forward as well. And these guys have probably played some of the maybe the most games during my time under my tutelage as the head coach. So I thought, well, on the varsity level, we'll toss in these guys and let them kind of share their experiences with you guys.
Well, you got three seniors. That's a lot of experience.
Yeah.
I'm assuming there's more, or is this?
We have 11 seniors.
11 seniors this year.
Yes.
So you've got a lot of experience.
We do. We really do.
Draw on. It's a little late in the season. Before we talk to you a little bit earlier on. It's only a little bit left before the district tournament. How does the District of Death shape up this year?
It is living up to his name. Hardin Valley has kind of come through and been able to do what maybe most folks thought, and they had a strong squad coming in, but they've had to work hard for it. They beat us early on. They were able to beat Bearden in PKs, which kind of gave them the edge. And then so right now, numbers 2 seed through 5 seed are kind of up in the air. We have Maryville, Bearden, Farragut, West. All of us are kind of hoping to, knock the other out from a different spot. And so head-to-head results come into play big time. We have Bearden Tuesday. William Blunt will probably find that 6th spot, and then Heritage will close us out at the 7th. But that starts in about 2 weeks on a Monday. Wednesday, Friday, it's a busy week.
So big week ahead, no pressure for these guys at all.
We'll take the pressure.
Okay.
They thrive. And the other teams do too. They know what they're getting into, and that's why it's so nice. Our record doesn't quite reflect how well they've played at times because we're playing great teams. So Bearden on Tuesday night, it's at home. They know a lot of the guys. Bearden knows us too. So Coach Radcliffe went to Maryville College. So it's a very close-knit community. We all are very competitive, and it can go either way. We feel good about where we are right now, though. We've had a good training sessions, had a great result against Science Hill Thursday night, and so it's one that will dictate how we finish, though, and whether we get a home game or two in district tournament. So.
Well, let's pick on Seth first.
Yeah, let's do it.
Coach was talking about the relationships and how you all know each other. Is there just a natural challenge to the Maryville schedule because you all play in that district? Like, you wouldn't want to play in a district where you were just going to be on win it every year with no trouble. I mean, just getting that test seems like it would be something that's a challenge every year.
I feel like that Maryville, when you try out for the team, you understand the type of level that you're getting into. What I've seen through my 4 years in Maryville is that every kid that has come out to try has proven themselves one way or another, whether that be one game or another. And that doesn't mean that they haven't made mistakes because, you learn from that. But the boys that are playing for Maryville understand the competition level and will go out there and put everything on the line.
Luke, how long has this game been circled on the calendar? Because I know the top four are very competitive, top five very competitive in this district, but there's some games that get circled early.
I mean, we like to focus on just the next game after. I mean, we don't like to focus on the past or future games. We just want to focus on our current development and work on that.
And how do you feel about how you all are playing right now? Does it feel like you're playing into a postseason form?
Yeah, we're getting a good idea of what our shape wants to be, and the boys are getting comfortable, and we're just adjusting.
Just adjusting. Okay, that works. We were hoping for somebody to lay it out there. Bearden better watch out, but I don't think we're going to get that done.
No.
I think they're
too smart for that.
I think they're way too smart for that kind of thing. And then I'm gonna pick you on you, but 11 seniors.
Yeah.
This is this a tight knit group? I mean, have you all been playing together for 4 years and kind of have a mission for the last couple of weeks of your senior year?
Yeah, I think when we all came in freshmen, we were all sort of lumped together as a group, and we sort of grown and all become varsity players by the end of our time at Maryville. And so I think we're really close, and we sort of we've taken it upon ourselves to be sort of leaders for all those young sophomores. We have only 2 people who are juniors, so we've got a pretty old senior class and then a pretty young sophomore and freshman class.
So you kind of feel that need to set an example because there is a little bit of a gap there.
Yeah, for sure. I can tell the sophomores sort of look up to us, and so it's whether it's on the field or off the field, it's about being a leader for the people around you, and then also the people, those younger players.
So totally unsoccer related. Between the three of you, who was shining the best last night? Who had the best? Who had the best attire going on?
I don't want to brag or anything, but my red and black, showing that Maryville color right there.
Red and black.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
No white.
Okay.
I changed it up. I went with steel gray, but still kept the red tie.
Okay.
I'd have to agree. Either Luke or Seth were up there with the best outfits for sure.
He's just trying to be humble. He really thinks himself, but he's just a humble guy.
No, Seth looked really good.
He might have had the best hair.
Okay. Well, and who got the best pictures last night? Like,
honestly, can that go to all 3 of us?
Yeah.
Because we did a little spinny thing yesterday, and it was really cool.
Yeah, 360 video. That was pretty cool. Yeah.
We were all looking really spiffy.
I don't know how to do it.
it sounds like something you need them to do on the pitch. Actually, if they can do the 360
Off the ball movement is key.
Well, Coach, talk a little bit about this group as a class because, like I said, they have been together for a while. You have a gap coming, so you kind of got some things you want to do for this season, but also in the back of your mind, you're thinking, well, next year I've got to have some pieces in place.
Well, you're always thinking, and you've got to stay focused on the present. These guys started in that COVID year where quarantining was happening and tracing, I guess is the better word, left and right. I know Seth missed a key district matchup. Thomas came in a little late, spring break. And you just, whether you had COVID or not, if you got traced, you'd have to miss some time. And then the next year, I was just telling my wife this morning, like, we still hadn't lost a game at this point. So in 2022, it was Bearden beat us in like April 23rd. And so it's funny how the seasons go sometimes. This year, we had just as equal a hard slate, and we play some really tough teams. And what we're seeing is those teams are thriving. They're doing really well. Wins and losses are going to come and go. These guys have set a standard for how to play and how to carry themselves on the field too, and off. Academics are incredible. I get a weekly report of all the guys, so really proud of them in different ways. But as we go forward, this is important. We want to make sure we send them off on the right note. They've meant a lot to the program, just as the future seniors will too. But the present is what we're focused on. Yeah.
So, guys, I know that every team, nobody's planning to lose, but you have goals at the beginning of the year where you think you need to. How far does Maryville have to get for you all to think this was a good senior season for you?
I think the goal mainly is just to spend as much time as possible. So obviously that means it's as advancing as far as possible. So however far we can go, we'll take. But because every moment with these guys is sort of precious and something I value.
So if you're playing after class ends, you consider it a good thing?
Yeah, I'd take that. Yeah.
Because classes will be finished at Maryville long before the state tournament starts. So.
Yes. We don't get the opportunity to walk through the cafeteria and everyone cheer for us. But we don't mind that because at the end of the day, we are with our brothers. We play together. We live together, basically. We are on the field a lot of the time. We're just happy to be with each other. So as long as we can go, that is our goal.
And you've all got something else that isn't exactly common, and by that I mean the soccer complex, because most teams are playing on their football field, even at the AAA level. It's kind of unusual to have your own soccer complex. How much of it does that help? Just having that kind of facility that you all can go to and work and do whatever you need to do. Mentally,
I think it gives us a boost because, like you said, not a lot of schools out there have their own soccer complex for that. We got to really thank Bradford for paying the lines, though.
Sometimes straight, sometimes not.
But the field is amazing, in my opinion. I've been playing on it again since I was a freshman, and the field condition has stayed the same. It's properly maintained a lot, and it's just really fun to get out there and see people cheer when you're playing on your home turf.
Do you all have the wider lines out there? Or are you all playing on football size lines out there?
No, it's a fairly decent sized pitch. It's not it's not maxed out, but it's bigger than most other fields we'll play on. Yeah.
I run a lot.
That's a good thing though, because you get guys that it seems a little bit wider to them because they're used to a football field.
Yeah.
So there's a home field advantage there.
Yeah.
So we have this thing. I'll throw out. We're sponsored by GoTees now. They own our show. And our owner really loves us to ask some of these offbeat questions. So we're going to put this out to you. Who has the best nickname on the team, and what is it? That is radio friendly.
I think I'm the only one who has a nickname.
Yeah. He has his own nickname and his own celebration.
Ooh, two questions in one.
Yes. What is this nickname?
Since freshman year, I think it was Connor Gorga who came on the show a couple years ago. He named me T. From the beginning, and then I just sort of rolled with it. And so the first time I scored my freshman goal, I did a tea time celebration, and so that sort of stuck, and everyone's called me T.
Is that really? Can you do it? Okay. Okay.
Nice.
If you were just listening on the radio, you're going to want to come back to Facebook to see that.
Yeah, definitely.
Come on up to the 14-minute mark and find the tea celebration.
There you go.
Or come to one of our games and maybe
that's the other one.
He scores a lot.
Because you all are at home, right, for Bearden?
We are, yeah. And we're here locally at William Blunt Thursday, and hopefully got some home games after that in district tournaments. So
if people haven't had the chance to talk about the complex I was just mentioning, there is a chance to come see you all play a really good match at home in a great facility. And, it is just right there behind John Sevier, correct?
Right. That's right, yeah.
So
John Chambers cuts the grass. Joe Robinette helps make sure it's as good as condition as it can be. I paint the lines, but that's very low key. So we're blessed to have some guys that put a lot of sweat into that place. So yeah, John will be cutting it here today or tomorrow, even in the rain, getting it ready for Tuesday. So
and concession stand. There's restrooms. I mean,
Yeah,
it's just a full out. It's not
We're
just
blessed.
like
I tell them all the time, like beyond just the complex, like obviously they've grown up here, but you don't always get to pick where you grow up. And if they're blessed enough to be in the Maryville City area and be able to go to our school and play for a program like this with John Kerr and Steve Feather and myself now, it's an incredible opportunity for kids to be able to play in such a cherished program on the soccer side of things. So don't take it for granted. It doesn't always work out for everybody.
So they've got their chance. They can come out Tuesday and see you at home. They can see you at William Blount on Thursday on the new Mike White Field turf, I might add.
That's right.
Y'all might still want to watch your footing over there. I don't think they finished quite everything around the outside of that place. But chance to see Maryville play. We'll put this off because I've mentioned social media. We'll close off with this one. Who is the king of social media on the team?
Definitely
T and Alec Blavelt. They run the Instagram for Maryville Soccer High School, and it is either the most serious thing in the world or it is really funny. So most definitely go check that out.
And what is the @ on that? If people want to follow it on Instagram.
Rebel Soccer? Rebel Boys Soccer?
MHS Rebel Soccer?
I don't know. Yeah.
They can search it.
Just look up Maryville High School Rebel Soccer, and we'll be right there.
It's extremely popular.
The unofficial page. We gotta point that out, though.
The unofficial
I don't put anything on there.
Coach is like, I have no knowledge. He's Colonel. He's like,
they do
Sergeant
a great
Schultz.
job.
I know nothing.
That's right.
Not endorsed by Coach.
Not endorsed by.
I enjoy it. I follow it. But
I know nothing.
That's right.
All right, guys, we appreciate you coming in. I know you got some places to be, and especially coming in after prom. I know you all were just really excited about that, getting up early on a rainy Saturday morning to come hang with us, so we appreciate it.
No problem.
We wish you all the best of luck, and same challenge wishing to everybody. We go into Memorial Day weekend with the show, so people who win at state have a chance to be invited back and come back on the show and bring their trophy. So no pressure there.
Another great reason to come back.
That's right. That would be outstanding.
All right, thank you all very much. Mike, I think we'll go ahead and turn the page.
Okay, Marcus, thanks a lot. We'll take a timeout here, and when we return, it'll be time for the Cherokee Group UT Sports Report and the Murphy's Bobcat SEC Notebook, featuring Marcus Fitzsimmons and Donnie Moore and the rest of our panel. You're listening to the GoT Sports page, Blount County Sports Voice, and now stay tuned for the best in local sports.
It's payday, and on payday, you want to have access to your money right away. When you enroll for direct deposit at Knoxville TVA Employees Credit Union, your money comes to you with no waiting. It's the fastest and most secure way to get paid. Getting set up is easy. All you need is your account number and our routing number. Find out more at tvacreditunion.com.
Join us now.
Federally insured by NCUA. Some restrictions apply. Ask for details.
Since 1925, Anderson Lumber in Alcoa has proudly served and supported our local communities. But did you know Anderson Lumber is so much more than a lumber store? You can stop in anytime and see our incredible kitchen showroom. From floors to cabinets and everything in between, Anderson Lumber's experts can help you design your dream kitchen. And then our install team will make it a reality. For anything home, we welcome you to visit Anderson Lumber in Alcoa or shop over 67,000 items online at AndersonLumberCompany.com. Anderson Lumber, since 1925.
Aubrey's is known for real comfort, real food, real good. But remember, Aubrey's is also really into Blount County. Aubrey's Maryville has been a strong supporter of local schools and sports programs for more than 15 years. From baseball to football, dance teams, and marching bands, Aubrey's has helped schools and youth programs generate thousands of dollars. It's easy for us to do because it's the right thing to do. So the next time you're looking to choose a place to eat, we hope you'll choose Aubrey's. Real comfort, real food, real good. See what's on the menu at aubreysrestaurants.com.
Merlin's Music World in Maryville is owned and operated by Dylan Davis and has been a fixture in Maryville since 1987. Guitars, amplifiers, lessons, sound system, and video system installations are products available at Merlin's. Merlin's also offers a 24-track digital recording studio featuring audio engineer Rusty Chambers. Visit Merlin's at 1920 East Lamar Alexander Parkway or call 977-0093. We all want our loved ones to be safe. Denso in Maryville is at the forefront of creating technology for safer vehicles. Join the automotive industry with Denso in a fast, challenging, clean, and safe environment. They offer great benefits and competitive pay, as well as a convenient on-site healthcare facility, cafes, fitness center, and more. Start your future now. Entry-level production positions start at $16 an hour for second or third shift. Visit densocareers.com/Maryville to learn more and apply. The BlueTick.
Welcome back to the Goatees sports page. This is Mike Edwards, and it's time for the Cherokee Group UT Sports Report and the Murphy's Bobcat SEC Notebook featuring Marcus Fitzsimmons and Donnie Moore. And we're joined. We've got a full house this morning, Donnie. We've got Coach Iruli here, the assistant football coach at Carson Newman, and ball basketball legend Tony White's back with us, and former Alcoa basketballer Dwayne Easter. So we got a lot of people here and a lot to talk about. Football,
Sure do.
Baseball, basketball, the whole gamut, huh?
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's let her rip.
Let's let her rip. Yeah, I got to let her rip this morning, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the transfer portal because it's in the news, and I'm not a big fan of it, but I've noticed something else with that portal. So I'm going to go over that here this morning. Forever, one of the great traditions of college athletics was to have your hometown mentioned right after your name. A newspaper article or a radio broadcast of a game would not be complete without a reporter or broadcaster announcing to the world where a player grew up and learned his or her sports skills. Rick Mount from Lebanon, Indiana, or Billy Shepard from Carmel, Indiana. A lot of times, the hometown even made the player more prominent, especially if that town had produced other outstanding players. The hometown almost always added to the larger-than-life story of a player. Players always enjoyed the connections with their previous community and would do their best to represent the fine people of their younger years. The transfer portal has changed all this. Now players tie to the past is the previous university they have played for. Example, Jimmy Jones is the latest addition to such and such university. He has played previously at South Dakota State, North Dakota State, and Central Dakota State. So sad that hometowns have been relegated to the back burner and replaced with a list of former college stops as a player attempts to find the promised land. Seems like such a cheap way to introduce someone to their prior athletic background. Always thought tradition was such a big part of sports, and losing any part of it seems to take away from the true meaning of what it strives to represent. Coach Iruli, a lot of truth in that, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's a different world we live in right now. I mean, the transfer portal, I mean, all the coaches I know hate it. But it's the reality where college athletics is now, that you got to be a part of it. But we grew up in a time where you built your program from the foundation and bringing in, your freshmen and build your team from there. You would always add a few transfers from maybe a junior college or something like that.
Yeah, but you had to sit out a year.
Yeah.
You had to sit out a year now.
You had to sit out a year, yeah. And you couldn't transfer within
the conference.
Right.
If you transferred within the conference when I played, you had to sit out 2 years.
Yeah,
there you go. 2 years.
And so, there was, I don't want to say penalty, but in a way it was. Because they were encouraging people to stick and stay. Nowadays, is like example, is that you get players that are in the transfer portal. Well, they're transferring the third or fourth time, and it's ridiculous. And fortunately, at the Division II level, we don't deal with it all that much compared to the Division I schools. But it's changed the whole dynamic. Talk about the NILs and all that. But to me, what's changed the most is the transfer portal and we're going through a 14-day period where now everyone's coming out on where they want to transfer or who's transferring, and so to me it's a sad reality of where college athletics is.
Tony White, back in the day when we played, and even today, you had your name on the back of that uniform. And you were always proud to represent where you came from. And I came down here from Indiana, and there wasn't a game that went by while I played down here that there was people from my hometown that came down here.
Right.
And that was just a real honor to represent them, and you tried to do it with pride and tried to do it, and you tried to represent them the best way you possibly could. But that just seems to be going by the wayside just a little bit.
Oh, it's a lost cause right now. I mean, just think about it. I came over, from Charlotte, North Carolina, and I was just proud to represent Charlotte at that time. It's just that, just let people know that, hey, Charlotte produced good players and everything. So that was the pride right there.
And what was cool about all of it back in the day was every once in a while somebody got a nickname.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, a broadcaster might give you a nickname or the team might give you a nickname and it would stick. And it was a lot of times tied to your hometown.
Exactly. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Who was it? Kurt Watson. Remember Kurt Watson, Donnie, and I don't know if Marcus remember.
Oh, yeah.
The running back over here, the Crossville Comet. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
I mean, you don't ever hear about those types of things.
He wore a cowboy
anymore.
hat, too, didn't he?
Yeah, the Crossville Comets, you know, or you know, the A.W. Davis, you know, from up there at Rutledge, I believe. The Rutledge Rifle, is that what they called it? They were there for a long time.
Exactly.
I mean, those were all neat things, but you hardly hear much about that anymore.
You know, my wife Carol's given me a lot of nicknames too. I don't know if it's related to.
We're a family-friendly show.
Oh yeah, I'll pass on that.
Yeah, I've been married 50 years, and a lot of those nicknames my wife's given me, you know, I've had to have counseling on. You know, along the way, you know, it's been rough. But,
man!
All right, going back to sports.
Okay.
Tony, let's talk about you've been kind of a journeyman. You know, you went down to follow the Vols to Charlotte, and then you went up to
in my hometown.
went up to Detroit up there to see them play. And by golly, tell us a little bit about your thoughts on how the tournament went for Tennessee, and you know, kind of how they exited. Was it? Did you find it disappointing, or did you feel like a lot of other fans, like, hey, we give our best effort, and you know, a lot of people just felt good about the loss and where it ended and so forth. How did you feel after?
Well, I just think that, you know, everything is planned out, and from that loss to Kentucky, I think that cost us a first round. You know, selection for a first seed. I think that you know, kind of just put us in, you know, a bracket that wasn't good for us. And it was, you know, because we knew we had to, you know, if we was going to win, we was going to end up with Purdue.
Right.
And so that's what it was. So I just think, look at Alabama. They went far. They got a nice bracket for them, and they played well. And so it's all about, you know, timing, brackets. It's just that it was a bad matchup for us because, you know, we didn't have the stable big guy.
Yeah. Let's talk about where we're at right now. A lot of players have exited.
True.
Your feelings about that?
Well, I mean, you know.
There's been quite the exit this year after you're coming off where you went, an Elite Eight. You'd think, my gosh, we're feeling real good about ourselves. Next year looks good. Let's everybody stick right here. We'll fill in with a few transfer portal guys. We'll be ready to roll. Didn't happen.
Well, there you go. I mean, you just brought up the main solution, that transfer portal.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like that, you know, before. I mean, like, you know, when I came here, like Tony said, you had to build up your program. You had to build your players up. You had to grow, produce, and know the system and play well. Now it's like, okay, I'm not playing. You know, you got guys there who's talented, but they don't want to learn the system. They just want to play their way. And if they don't play right away, they got that option as they go to the transfer portal. You know, we got you know, De Leon left and Adu, he wanna, and Walker, he kind of decided. See, they got that option. Now, if you came off, when I played, you came off of a season like that, I wasn't thinking about going nowhere.
No.
But it's not thinking about going anywhere. It's about the money. It's the money.
Let me tell you something. I don't care how much money's out there on that. I don't care how much money's out there on that table. I wouldn't have had the guts to walk into Ray Mears' office and say, "Look, I'm going to put my name in the transfer portal." I can't even imagine how that conversation would have went. It would have probably went something like, "Well, you just go ahead and take all your stuff out of the dorm right now, get in your car, and head the heck out of here." Yeah. And if it ever got to where I didn't need anything worked out, there would be no return. You understand? That would be it. I would be severing the ties, you know, with the university. But
like, you
now
know,
they open the door like Waka. You know, last week I think Coach Barnes said, "Well, you know, we'd welcome him back." You know, if that wouldn't happen in my day, that would not have happened.
Well, true. I mean, I mean,
Would that happen with
like
DeVoe?
Tony said, DeVoe? Oh, man, please.
He's like a grandfather. You know?
Oh, man. DeVoe?
Don't talk about my grandfather.
Oh, man. Now, DeVoe would have said, I would have told you DeVoe. I'm telling you, Coach DeVoe, first words he would have said, gee, guys, I'm sorry that didn't work out for you. I'll see you later. That's Coach DeVoe. He would have said, I'll see you later, guys. But I hope your future is going to be well.
Yeah.
All right, bye.
But schools now want to build up the reputation. We are a transfer portal friendly school. All right? Seriously. If you want to come to our place, that's great. And if you feel like you need to go somewhere else, hey, we'll help you. We'll help you go ahead and find a different location. They don't want to be a anti-transfer portal place and all that because it hurts their image.
Tony, I like you a lot today.
Yep.
But you're wrong.
You think so?
It's all about the money, Tony.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Tony,
Yeah.
if one school going to give you 150, 200, or 300,000, Tony, where are you going? These kids today, come on, now be honest with me. Where are you going, Tony? The $300,000 school. I don't care what school it was.
I would stay at that school. That would give me my work study money.
Oh, Tony.
$7.50 an hour.
Tony.
Oh, really? Oh, I'm sorry. I was back in the 1990s.
Yeah. Okay.
I was thinking the other day about all this. Who's figuring out the transfer on the education part of it? You know, how many credits they got and so forth. How's that?
That is so far down.
How many are graduating the credit? How do they work that out? Because, every time you change universities,
some of it
back
don't
in the
count,
day, some of it doesn't even count.
No.
Dwayne,
That's
right?
why they got to eliminate the term student athletes. These guys are not student athletes anymore. They're in there. If they get their degree, fine. All right, but that's not why they're there anymore.
Yeah.
It's
Listen,
just throwing blame ball.
All of that started. All of this is starting actually in the summer leagues, man, with these Nikes and everything. So the kids are getting adapted to it early.
Sure.
I'm talking about recruiting and everything. They're getting adapted to it early. So when they come to college now, they're like, okay, now hey, this is what I want. This is what I'm demanding, and it's either you're going to pay it or you're going to say, well, no, you got to find somewhere else to go. And that's what's happening.
That's exactly right. Yeah. Exactly right.
It's starting early.
Yeah, you start with all those
traveling teams. There you go.
And it started off with basketball, but now you see it in football and baseball and all that. I got grandkids, and they've been involved in travel ball. 7 years old travel ball.
Yeah.
Give me
showcase.
Playing on Sunday mornings at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Hey, showcases.
Yeah.
Showcases.
Everything's a showcase.
Yeah, everything's a showcases. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nike, Under Armour, Adidas, everything showcases, right?
Yeah.
Oh, man. It's unbelievable now.
Yeah. Tony, I can understand, why somebody, and we talked about this a little bit earlier, but I can understand why some people would go to the transfer portal, some players. But in the case of Adu, and the other player that we had here that left, and we've had several.
Yeah.
But
De Leon,
Awaka,
De Leon, and Jefferson. You had three guys.
But Awaka and Adu are the two that I'm having a real problem with, because here you are, as we've discussed, they're playing the SEC, a great league, maybe the best league in the country. They got a great arena. They got great crowds of support. They're playing for Hall of Fame coach. They're playing a pro offense. Everything's set up right there for them. The NIL money here is as strong as it is everywhere. It is everywhere else. Why would you leave, and where are you going to go to better yourself? I don't understand.
Well, It's a simple fundamental thing that the players they just relax. They just don't forget about it. Mm-hmm. You got to work. You got to get better. You got to produce. So now you got kids that don't even want to go out to better themselves, as in work hard. Did I say the French word, didn't I? Work hard. Did y'all hear what I'm talking about? Work hard. There's no more, Mike. Working hard no more, Mike. People just coming out, gimme.
Well, it's like the example I've used before is that the quarterback for Ohio State kind of let him 11, 12 wins this year. Had a great season. He transfers out and goes to Syracuse, who won only 3 games. All right, fired their coach, but he transferred to go there. Why? Because Syracuse was offering him more money to go there.
But see, also the pressure at Ohio State to win. Oh, see, the kids don't want to deal with the pressure no more. They want the money, but they don't want the pressure. They don't want everything to come with it.
Yeah.
Because you know the pressure of Ohio State and Syracuse. Come on now, talk to me.
Yeah.
Come on, Big Ten, Michigan.
But you would never have thought, except for now, it's like we talked about. It's the money issue.
Do you think between Awaka and Adu that there was a disconnect where the other one thought he's going to be the guy next year? I want to go somewhere to be the guy, and both of them made the same mistake. Like, there's room for one of them to come back and be the guy.
Well, see, the kids are not really thinking. I'm just be honest with you. If Awaka and Adu would, I'm just saying, if they stay, if it work out. But Adu is gone. But Awaka, they played them both this year. See, what's the difference? It doesn't matter. They played them both at certain times this year. You know, he played the small forward and Adu played the center. So they played them both. That could have been a recipe for next year. Both of them playing. But hey, you never would know because everyone's they looking out for eye.
And they gone.
There you go. There you go. It's all about eye. It's all about
true.
Yeah.
Wayne Easter, basically what Tony's really trying to say is they're starting all over again. Over there. I mean, really, when you get right down to it. They got 5 scholarship. They signed Darlene Stone DeBar out of Hofstra, I believe, last week. Pretty close to toward the end of the week before last week. 17.8 points per game. Shot 53.9% from the floor, 39.9% from threes. And I think I read this, 6'8" guard?
Yeah.
6'8" guard. 6'8" guard. And so they're high on this guy. Well, you've got his 17.8, and you got Ziegler's, 12. So you're up to 29 points right here. I mean, you don't have many points. You got 5 scholarships left, Dwayne. So and, it just seems like things have kind of slowed down. You haven't heard. You think, well, we're after the Belmont guy. We're after the guy from out of Arizona. Well, they lost him. They were really after him, big center, and he went to Indiana.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but they got the other center, the guy he's a pop and shoot big guy. He's about 6'10", 6'11" from Charlotte.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, you got these guys coming in. We don't have them now. You don't have a team. I mean, Indiana State, their coach. We just talked about this last week. He left and went to St. Louis, and they hired a new coach at Indiana State. And here they were in the championship game of the NIT and lost to the final. They got 2 players. The new coach has got 2 players up there, so it's all about the transfer portal. And you're trying to build a program again from scratch. That's not an easy deal anywhere.
Yeah. No. Well, and it seems that they're doing it every year.
Yeah.
They've got to rebuild the entire team, regardless of what type of record you had and all that. It's a constant rebuild. Back
years ago, and Tony and I played, it took you a year or so to get used to the system.
Yeah.
A year or 2 years. And, of course, I don't – Tony played 4. You played 4, didn't you?
I played 4 years.
So you played 4 years. Well, see, I was under a 3-year deal, and that was such a big thing because they thought, well, we'll bring freshmen aren't eligible. We'll give them that year to acclimate to college, the academics. We'll let them play a basketball schedule. But the main thing is that they get their feet on the ground, get acclimated, and then sense how it's going to be, and then they'll be ready to go their sophomore year. See, they took away all of that. They took away all of that and went to the 4-year setup.
Did they used to have a junior varsity?
We did. We played our games before our freshman games before the varsity played. UT. We played at 5, and they are 5 or so or 6. I think we play at 6 and they play at 8, something like that.
Yeah.
But it was okay. I was glad I did that because college is a big adjustment.
Oh,
of course,
yeah.
like Tony really says, it's a whole different ball game. Kids, I went to school to get an education back then. It wasn't about money, and it wasn't about thinking about pro. Hardly anybody was thinking about playing pro basketball. It was about getting your education, getting your degree. So it was a whole different atmosphere.
Yeah, totally different. And just think about all the games that the kids, are just like for us. There wasn't a lot of summer leagues. I don't think. I played in a lot of. I'm just saying. Traveling teams back in the 80s?
Yeah.
No, they weren't really traveling teams. I mean, they was in the late 80s and probably the 90s they started coming with the Nike AAU ball. But just think about all the ball that they playing now. They don't even,
Yep. Back in our day, you had mostly your local summer leagues. Yeah, and you made it, and that's whether it was baseball or basketball.
Right.
That's what you had. Just
exactly.
Your local community.
Here's what it was in Indiana when I played the whole 4 years in high school. When you lost in the state tournament, you were done until you were allowed to start practice the following year. You couldn't go to summer camps. There was no AAU basketball. There was no organized play.
Exactly.
You couldn't even get in the gym. The coach couldn't. He couldn't unlock the doors outside of school hours so you could get in the gym. It was prohibited. So all your game was on outdoor courts.
There you go.
Boys Club, YMCA, and you think
parks.
you talk to these great
pickup
players in Indianapolis at the time, the Venarsdales, McGinnis, and all those guys. They had a park that they all went to in Indianapolis, and they played their pickup game. That's how they learned the game. There was no AAU or anything. It was all you made your game yourself.
Exactly.
You made your talent yourself. You could go as far as you wanted to go. It wasn't up to anybody else. Nobody else was really going to be there in that off season to help you. It was all about you.
Exactly.
You and the ball, and where did you want to go with it?
Yeah, when I was growing up, I also played baseball as well. Well, in the summertime, we just played in the Babe Ruth leagues.
Sure.
All right, we just there in Sarasota. That's what everyone did. From the different high schools. But now, like I said, it's a whole different deal, and it's I think it's those summer leagues, those whether it's Nike leagues or whatever they do, the travel ball and all. I think it's slowly eroded the concept of team building and that aspect, which I believe is very important for programs.
That's why Springbrook, I did that.
And
in
Marcus
the
is
And the other thing and it's when we hype on it, it ends up being a year-round program for one sport.
Yeah.
And when we talk about it, and we talk when we have the athletic trainers on here, all that repetition is bad, especially when you're a teenager, because you end up wearing out muscle groups to doing one set of skills. Where the kids that are playing multiple sports, and I'm going to give kudos to Eagleton because I've seen a lot of three-sport athletes already over there this first varsity year. Those kids aren't wearing themselves out. I mean, they're playing three sports. They're using a whole different sets of stuff all year long. It's a healthier approach to playing sports in high school.
Well, when you played on those outdoor courts back in those days, you played against guys, a lot of guys that were older, and they'd already been through everything. They'd already been through the Indiana State tournament. They already had taken all the atmosphere, so they were telling you all about it.
Yeah.
You were learning from them while you were playing, and you wanted to be prepared to go to that step and be better than they were.
Exactly.
And you wanted to be the best. Now, I got Marcus Fitzsimmons sitting down there, and he's thinking, well, where does this all fit in with me? Well, in Indiana, at the time that I played up there, the sports writers, they were the gurus because they covered high school sports in Indiana more than they did Indiana and Purdue and Notre Dame in basketball. It was absolutely unbelievable. It was all about high school basketball. From East Chicago, Washington in the northern part, all the way to Vincennes in the southern part, everybody in Indiana, through the media and sports writers, knew who could play and who couldn't play, and what teams were good and what teams weren't, and what teams were going to contend for the state title and what teams would not. It was a real machine. It really was. Everybody working. You would have loved it, Marcus. Absolutely loved it.
Getting to cover high school sports, I would have loved it, because given, that's mainly what the Daily Times focuses on. Not that you can find that but I mean, you pick up the bigger papers now, there's no high school coverage at all in there. So, I mean, that's changed as well because everything is about, there's been more time about recruiting news than they do covering the kids playing games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then in the summer, Tony, in the summertime, they had a series, the Indiana-Kentucky All-Star game, and they had, I don't know, Indianapolis, they'd settled out 14,000 people plus, and in Louisville, Freedom Hall, 19-5. I mean, this is the best players in Kentucky high school career against the best players in Indiana in a 2-game series. And Marcus is sitting down there and thinking, well, how valuable was the sports writer? Guess who picked all the players?
Yeah.
Not coaches, not the guys coaching those teams, the sports writers. The sports writers all
and they used to have the knowledge base to do that. I don't think you could say that anymore. No, they've got too much bias of their own.
Yeah, all these 5 stars. You know what I mean? It kills me. 5 stars, 3 stars, 4 stars. I even wasn't a star in North Carolina, but I come over here and I worked hard. So this star business, it kills me.
Yeah, there wasn't any stars.
When we go ahead and start evaluating players for even at Carson Newman, we see 3-star, 4-star, and we look at it and said, who in the heck's even evaluating?
Exactly.
All right. I think what they do, the parents pay the person who puts that extra star in there to do that. I mean, it's like it's really ridiculous. And in recruiting kids, the amount of players that are just one sport players. I mean, to me, it's not a good thing. If I was recruiting a football player, I would love to go and watch him play basketball or run track and field. How many times I was going to watching track and field competition and all that because I'm recruiting this guy. And to me, that was part of the evaluation process.
Yeah, I know Tony went through this. Of course, I've talked about learning the game on a playground or the boys' club, whatever it might be. But I'll tell you something. I wouldn't trade those experiences for anything that's going on today, Tony. Not one thing, not one AAU deal, not traveling all over the place. I wouldn't trade that environment and that atmosphere for anything that's going on today. I cherished all those moments as much as I did playing in the high school games and the state tournament in Indiana and even the games down here at UT. They were just special moments. And I go back and I see those players that in my hometown that, of course, they're up in age now. Those guys are, I'm up in age. But, we still talk about those days, and I always say, hey, I appreciate you coming out there after work every night and coming down to Riley Park there in town and playing on the outdoor courts with the chain nets on the goals. Those were just special moments. Wouldn't trade them for anything, huh? And I know you probably feel the same way.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I had a lot of guys, when I go back to Charlotte and everything, they say, hey, man, I appreciate everything that you was doing at Tennessee. You said the court lesson, helped you out. I mean, because you're playing with older guys, experienced guys. You know what I mean? That's teaching you the ropes and everything. Hey, you got to take it's like this. In order to develop, you got to take a whipping. You know what I'm saying? You got to take a whipping, take a licking, come back the next day, and get better.
How are you going to bounce back? How are you going to respond to that?
Exactly.
All right.
These kids today can't do that.
Oh, Mommy, I think it's time for me to go ahead and transfer. I got transferred. I think, gee, that coach yelled at me. I hurt my feelings.
And that's what's going on.
Yes. I need some mental rehabilitation right there.
Dwayne Easter, you remember those days here in Alcoa. You go to the courts, and by golly, if you didn't win, you was going to sit down for a while because there's 3 or 4 teams sitting over waiting to play.
Yeah, we played at Springbrook in the summertime. He probably remembers it too. And you had to, had a lot of good athletes over there. And I remember you'd get beat, and you'd have to sit over on the stage.
Yeah, it ate you up, didn't it?
Yeah, it ate you up until you got your chance to get back out there. And also, I was going to tell you this, that you remember Dawn Marsh that went on at UT to become an All-American?
Yeah.
She'd come over there and play with the guys. That's how she got so good, and she won a national championship at Tennessee.
Yeah, Dawn Marsh,
George McGinnis used to tell about playing on those courts in Indianapolis. There was a lot of Christmas Addicts guys. Oscar was out there, the Van Arsdale. I mean, there was a lot of players. And George used to tell the story that he was playing against a team, and I don't remember the player, but he was kind of a roughneck, real good player in Indianapolis and high school ranks. And the game got right down to the end, and George said, well, we won. And the guy said, I don't think you did, pulled out a knife. And George said, I think the score was wrong.
That's right.
We'll just step over here and wait our turn again.
Exactly.
But it got rough. And that court that they played on was dirt.
Was it?
It was a dirt packed down court.
I got you.
There in Indianapolis.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's in a park now, and I think they've got a plaque, that signifies that, on this site was where they played those pickup games, way back in the 50s and 60s.
He probably remembers it too.
Donnie.
Donnie probably remembers it too. There's a lot of games was played over at Everett Park. Those courts up there.
Oh, yeah.
Those things were
listen,
packed.
We used to play
Sandy Springs.
anywhere and everywhere we could.
Yeah.
You'd play. Even if you lived out in the country, you'd get out and somebody'd put up a hoop in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
Or a field, and you'd play football, you'd play baseball, you'd play basketball, anywhere you did.
I remember
they got to be indoors.
My uncles, they farmed up there. And their sons played at county school, Hancock Central, there in Hancock County. And we'd go to church, and we'd go out to their house for a meal. Parents would take me. I wasn't very old, 12, 13 years old. And we'd go out there, and they had a goal in the barn, inside the barn, with a dirt floor, and we'd be playing with church. Everybody dressed up to go to church.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
And we'd go out there and play. All of us, we'd have a white shirt on and a tie hanging out with dress pants on and shoes, playing pickup games inside the barn. Is that not a memory or not? How many kids could you find doing that today?
Oh, you can forget about it. None.
Not happening.
Not happening. No.
Yeah.
Not in the barn. No,
No,
you
not
forget
in the
about
barn,
it.
no.
It's got to be air conditioned.
There's not many barns left anymore. So.
True that.
Yeah.
Well, it got to be indoors, air conditioned.
Oh, yeah.
And it got to have some Gatorade. It got to. Hey.
Well, when you look at older pictures, you see pictures of barns, but how many of those barns do you see a basketball hoop connected to the side of the barn and all that?
You can still drive through the state of Indiana and see them on the outside of the barn.
Yeah.
There'd be a barn, and there'd be the goal out there, and maybe some gravel, where they take their farm machinery in and out. But
there's always a basketball hoop.
Be a goal out there where they'd be playing. So always a story. Marcus, let's switch gears a little bit. Get you back involved here. Kim Caldwell, the Lady Vol basketball coach, she's hired some assistants. Your take on that? Looks like she's got some SEC experience coming in, and she's got some former people from Marshall.
Yeah, she brought in two members of her staff from Marshall, and I believe both of them were with her before she went to Marshall as well. And then she's picked she made some interesting picks within the conference, and some people that were already dubbed as associate head coaches. And I'm not sure what magic she used, but she's got them on board with her. The thing they've all got in common is they are all noted recruiters, either in the portal or as recruiting in high school, which is something she's in dire need of with the situation the program's in. It's all going to pay off this year, but we'll see. We won't be able to judge this staff for what they've been hired for until this time next year, when we're looking at who's been signed to come in.
She's sort of in the same boat as Rick Barnes. They're both needing transfer portal players, aren't they?
Yeah, they do.
She needs some help because of who she's graduated, and I think they just lost their first player yesterday that went into the portal. So they've got some spots to fill. They've kept up. The one recruit they did have signed, and she was already in class because she had an injury and ended her high school career early. She's still committed, so they'll at least have one newcomer, but a 1-for-1 isn't going to replace losing the third draft pick of the WNBA draft.
Yeah.
So
I just think it's an interesting pick for the head coach because, she's had 1 year at Marshall, and then the previous 8 years she was at Glenville State.
Exactly.
Yeah, in Division II school.
And she's won big at
won
all
big.
those places.
Yeah, she's done a great job.
About, upper 80% games she's won.
Name a football coach who was the head coach at Glenville State.
Yeah.
Rich Rodriguez.
Rodriguez.
That's where he came from.
Yep.
Marcus Rakia Jackson went in the fourth round, or not the fourth round, but the fourth pick.
Right,
she's
number 4 pick.
That's great.
Los Angeles Sparks in the 2024 WNBA draft. That was a high pick. Good for her.
And it's a legacy. I mean, Tennessee has got a lot of first-round picks, and especially a history with the Sparks picking Tennessee players. They've had quite a few over the years. So, I mean, it's about where people estimated she would be when this season started. So it shows that even though she had some ups and downs this season, I mean, it didn't affect where she was going to be in the end. So, I mean, it's a good pick for her, and I think it's a good fit for her too.
Yeah. And that series is going to get, well, it has grown in popularity, but with Caitlin Clark, and we're going to talk about her later on in the show, but with her coming into the league, it's fixing to really take off now, don't you think? Because they're going to sell a lot of tickets wherever she plays, don't you?
Well, they've already sold out for next season.
Yeah, they've already sold out in Indiana. But I'm talking about when she goes on the road, they're going to sell tickets to all those other
Sure
places.
they are.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They will at first. We'll see. There's a lot to unpack there if you want. If we're
going to
dive
get to
into
that
it
a little bit later. Hey, it's time to turn the page, and the Anderson Lumber Company Player of the Week segment is up next. You're listening to the Goatee Sports Page, and now stay tuned for the best in local sports.
The BlueTick Tavern is home to the tastiest pizza in Blount County. Try our signature Broadway barbecue pizza, grilled chicken and red onions covered in mounds of mozzarella. Or sink your teeth into our one-of-a-kind chicken and bacon pizza, made with an olive oil base, grilled chicken, bacon, red onions, and covered in Brussels petals. The BlueTick Tavern also has salads, sandwiches, and the area's largest beer selection. Regularly recognized as the best pizza in Blount County, it's the BlueTick Tavern, located at 128 West Broadway in downtown Maryville. The Roger L. Newman Company began in 1984 with a vision of providing Blount County with excellent heating and cooling service. Mr. Newman also wanted a real business. No gimmicks and no high-pressure sales. They just fix it or replace it. They want to stay within your budget and make you comfortable. Their motto still stands true today. Call us first, we'll be there. Call Roger L. Newman Company at 982-5446 or visit online at rogerlnewman.com. Cooler temperatures are approaching. Upgrade your furnace now for as little as $50 a month. Your newspaper? That's right. The Daily Times is your newspaper, tailored to where you live, emphasizing the things that affect you and keeping track of the people and players in our community. The award-winning Daily Times can be delivered each morning right to your door or inbox with the latest in local news and sports. For a 30-day free trial offer, call 981-1100 and begin enjoying your life, your times, every day with the Daily Times. For over 50 years and 3 generations, the people of Blount County have trusted Stevenson Tire with their vehicles and their families. Our mission has always been simple: to provide quality products at reasonable prices with exceptional customer service. Featuring tire products from Michelin, BF Goodrich, Uniroyal, Bridgestone, Firestone, and Yokohama, Stevenson Tire also offers alignment and brake services at affordable prices. Stevenson Tire Company, 2411 East Broadway Avenue in Maryville. Call 983-1621 or online at stevensontire.net. Waters Equipment is your East Tennessee New Holland agriculture and construction dealer. Waters Equipment has been serving Blount County for 48 years and has 2 locations in Maryville for sales and service for New Holland equipment. Offering shop and field service for trucks and equipment of all brands, Waters offers equipment rentals for New Holland skid steer, Mini X, and tractors. Call 238-9000 for your rental needs. That's 238-9000. Waters Equipment New Holland. Excellence in service.
I did this right here. I see it.
Welcome back to the BlueTick Tavern in downtown Maryville. This is Mike Edwards along with the rest of our broadcast crew. And now it's time for the Goatee Sports Page Player of the Week segment, sponsored by Anderson Lumber Company, where quality service is always a priority, proudly serving Blount County for over 75 years. I'm here with our crew, Tony Iruli, Carson Newman, assistant football coach, of all basketball legend Tony White, former Alcoa basketballer Dwayne Easter, and of course Donnie Moore, and Marcus Fitzsimmons is here with us. And before we get into some UT football, Dwayne Easter, you got an article there about Dalton Connect and somebody wanting to retire his jersey, and
well, his
name Knoxville after him, and what else?
Yeah, this is in the paper, I don't know, a week or so ago, and it says retire Connect's jersey. It's complicated. So it goes on about, of course, he was, I reckon, first team All-American, SEC Player of the Year. And where it comes into play is that national award, I reckon the Julius Erving Award, if that's considered a good enough award to deem him to have his jersey retired. So you can go back to when Tony played. I don't think there was as many national awards at that time. And there's several things that he did that you could count as a national award, I think, and when you played in Hawaii, and, the awards you got there. And, of course, the Playboy, award that you got down there, one of the top 10 players in the country. You could count that as a national award. So,
yeah. I truly, that's got to be a national award.
Tony's all for that award.
Yeah, he's been searching for that issue for months.
Yeah.
Tony.
Yeah, you keep saying you're going to bring it.
You know what? It's on.
It's on. Okay.
All right.
That's the one that should put him over the top.
Yeah.
If that doesn't give him a retired jersey, I don't know what does.
Hey, your wife is calling in right now. I just want you to know that.
Oh my goodness!
Sorry, just kidding, Garrett.
But
yeah, with Tony, I'd just say Tony White, Playboy All-American. I'd leave it at that. Huh?
Yeah, I don't see Connect gotten that honored yet.
No.
So anyway, as long as Connect's name's in the mix, hopefully Tony's will be too. But his should definitely be before Connect.
Well, I'll tell you about Connect and what you've read there. If he was at North Carolina, he'd be in the money because they'd be hanging it up there because he only needed one of those.
Yeah.
He only needed one of those at North Carolina to get it hung. They got 45 up there hanging, and we've got
crazy.
what? We got 5 over here. We got 4 or 5.
4.
And we talked about that last week where recruits come to North Carolina and look up there and they go, my gosh, look at all the great players you've had here.
Exactly.
And they go over to UT and they see 4 banners hanging up there and they're going, hell, where's all your players? Where are they all at? I thought you had a pretty good program here. You got 4 names hanging up there. And the other 2 are coaches and one's an announcer.
Yeah. Well, those banners cost money,
Yeah, I just found it. The Julius Irving Award is awarded to the nation's top male small forward in Division I basketball.
Well, that didn't.
That's what it says here. It's awarded for the nation's top male. It's got to be male. All right. I'm not going to say anything else.
Oh, boy.
Small forward in Division I basketball.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that a new award or what? Is that a new award? When did it start? When did that come out?
That's what he won.
I know he won it, but I'm just saying, when did they start that?
2015.
Okay.
First award, 2015.
Oh, man, I've been out. Yeah. Okay. That's a new award. That's great. That's great.
I don't want
to
disappoint you, Tony, but all of those trophies and awards are about 3 times as tall as the ones you got. and I'm going to even disappoint myself because when you were getting your awards, what were maybe a fourth of that size, I was getting certificates. So anytime you want to come over and see my certificates, I'll be glad to show them to you.
Hey, I won an award. I won an award at Marysville College and I got a ribbon.
Those are always nice.
Yeah, I got
you can pin it on your lapel.
That's right.
Can't pin a trophy up there.
That's Marysville College for you. Yeah, we got you a ribbon.
But the trophies you got, they were bronze. They were worth. They were substantial. They were worth something. Those trophies they give out now are the gold plated in plastic. I mean, they put a little eagle wing or whatever. It's breaking off as soon as you touch the thing.
I guess.
Oh, well.
I guess. Oh, well. Anyway back to Connect. Back to Connect.
It's amazing how we can get off.
Hey, listen. I'm not taking anything away from great year. Outstanding. May have been the best year anybody's ever had on a 1 year.
Yeah.
But coming in and playing 1 year, I don't buy the retired jersey. Now, how's he get retired? He goes to the pros and he has a stellar career, and then somebody's going to say, well, look, we need to retire his jersey over here.
Yeah.
It's going to be maybe based more on his play somewhere else rather than just his play right here.
But Tony was there 4 years and all the accomplishments he made. I definitely think he deserves to have his retired. And, I mean, like I say, the stuff he did back then could be considered a national award in those days.
Put his photo on a banner and put it out in the corridor.
Well, and he's got the other. Well, look, he's got it already. But if they want to look at
Connect, just put him on a banner and put him out in the corridor where people can walk. Like they got some other players out there. Let it
I'm
go.
in the corridor.
You're in the corridor.
Yeah, right by the restroom. Yeah, Tony's on down there where they sell concessions. He's got a lot better location than what I got. Huh?
Well,
isn't it great just to hang out here every time?
I know. I'm having the ball. I'm having the ball.
Right by the hot dog.
Yeah, right by the hot dog. Get you a hot dog and go down to Edwards down there and go to the restroom. Get you a drink.
We'll take a picture right by there. Those have those sign men only.
Yeah, men only. There you go. There you go. Oh yeah.
Hey, let's talk some football. And last Saturday, Tennessee completed spring football practice by hosting their annual orange and white game. Only 10,000 fans were allowed to witness the extravaganza due to construction at Neyland Stadium. And for the record, whatever it means, the orange team won 21-17. Marcus, it's all been low-key pretty much because of the basketball season that they had, and all the emphasis was on there, and spring football was going on. And did the orange and white game do anything to add to the excitement going into next year, the hype?
I don't know. It gave them practice as far as, how to have a party in the parking lot because nobody could get into the stadium. So at least they got that part down. But you just didn't feel the excitement, and I think it's because you got a couple factors. One is a modern approach to spring football. The second one is Tennessee was banged up in some key areas, so you saw there were several guys that were not playing or participating. So it wasn't really a true test per se. So you had that going. But then you have basketball's late run to the Elite Eight detracting from the first start of spring practice, and then you have baseball really getting on track in the last couple of weeks to take away from the back end of spring practice. So it's not the big carnival in the middle of spring that it used to be. That was a 3-week, daily report on what was going on. It was kind of low key, like you said, and that's I think what they intend for it to be.
Yeah.
It's testing young guys and putting some transfers in places and seeing what they can do, and all those early enrollees. It's not so much a win your spot sort of thing as it once was.
Yeah. Tony, Nico Imalava, 7 for 9, 96 yards. Didn't see a whole lot of play out there, but everybody's excited about him coming in, and he had the start against Iowa in the bowl game.
Sure.
And everybody goes back and to where they scored a lot of points. And, of course, Iowa couldn't score points if there wasn't a defense out there, pretty much.
Yeah.
But he got sacked 6 times, in that bowl game. So, the offensive line, still a lot of question marks right there. And at a quarterback, you'd like to see your offensive line maybe a little bit more solid for the running game and protecting the quarterback and that type of thing. But that seems to be a big question mark right now.
Yeah, I went to one of their practices last week of their spring practices, and I tell you, it was a high energy practice. The offensive line had a lot of one-on-one work with the defense line, a lot of pass rush situations. To me, it looks like Nico, though, he's gained some weight, which I think was, he's a tall guy. He's about 6'5", 6'6", and but he's real skinny, and it looks like he's gained some weight. He was sticking in the pocket a little bit stronger. A big. One of the reasons I went there as well, the running back coach, Darrell Sims, coached at Carson Newman for a year, and now he's the running back over at UT. But it was a really good practice. The practice I went to was about 4 days before their spring game, and still they weren't sloshing off or anything like that. They were going hard at it both sides. I think they got some. They were trying to develop some quality wide receivers because that was an area that they've lost some from graduation. It wasn't a real strong area. But I think, they're working hard to gain some quality wide receivers into their program.
Yeah, one thing they found out, I think, from the orange and white game, one plus was the fact that the backup quarterbacks look good. Gaston Moore, he knows Heupel's system, came from where he was UCF, initially, 184 yards and 2 touchdowns. And then Jake Merklinger, 63-yard touchdown pass. He had 105 yards. 1 touchdown throwing, and he had 47 yards rushing. So both of those guys, that's a little reassuring that you got some backup help right there going right,
forward. And those guys got equal amount of reps during the practice I saw with Nico. So right now going into the fall camp, I guess Nico's their guy, but, if he starts not producing, they feel like they got a couple of quality quarterbacks to take over, especially the one that played at UCF.
Yeah, Marcus, the receivers, they showed well.
I think they were
showed
probably
well,
the group that needed to show. And you had the two main ones who weren't even playing. So I said,
Brew McCoy and Squirrel White didn't play.
So you was basically about, and it was very similar to what we saw last year, developing that depth behind them and putting them in some situations and seeing what those guys can do when you put them on the field in a limited situation, but put them on the stadium, turn the lights on, see if that makes a difference or not. And I think you saw some positive signs. You saw some good catches. Did you see the next All-American? I don't know that there was any situation where you saw somebody make that move, but there were some signs that Tennessee has developed that depth at receiver that they're going to need because 2-3 years in a row now we've seen a major injury to one of your best receivers, and then there was a drop-off.
Yeah. Dante Thornton, and two transfers showed well. Dante Thornton and Chris Brazell from Tulane. He had one touchdown, 78 yards receiving, and Mike Matthews, the freshman. He was impressive in the game. He scored on a long touchdown pass, had some key blocks out there. So you're right. It looks like they're going to have some depth there at receiver. Running back, Tony. Let's get to the running backs. They were just sort of decoys out there. Yep. They didn't hand the ball off. Maybe it was because the offensive line's not where it should be, and the defensive line is stout.
Yeah,
they're loaded at defensive front, right? So maybe they just didn't feel comfortable because they don't have a lot of depth at running back right now.
Yeah, they just ran
there.
A couple basic zone plays, but yeah, they just. I think that what they're trying to do in the show is to develop the quarterback and the wide receiver positions and all. Will they be able to run? I think their offensive line, maybe they might get another transfer come in to help with their offensive line. But at the same time, you're right. I was real impressed with their defensive front and their linebackers when I watched practice. They got after it pretty good. Their linebackers seem to run very well. And nowadays, you've got to have linebackers. The real thick middle linebacker type that we were accustomed when we were growing up to. You can't play college or pro football anymore with that type of guy. Yeah. These guys are really like strong safety types that can run and compete.
Yeah, Marcus, they were beat up on the running back. Cam Selden didn't play, and Peyton Lewis, he didn't play. Dylan Sampson looks like the man now.
And that's what you wanted.
But I think they're going to hire. I mean, they're going to go after some backs in the transfer.
They've got the opportunity to look attractive to a back. Anybody they bring in will have to understand you're going to get chances to run the ball, but you're also going to have to know how to block. So there's an opportunity there. Linebacker, we get finished with spring drills, and the leading tackler from last year goes in the transfer portal the first day it opens for football. Yeah. And that was the starting middle linebacker.
Tony,
so
I just don't understand that. I mean, that's.
I don't know why you go through spring practice that way and then hit the transfer portal literally 2 days after.
Yeah, as soon as it opens up. Yeah, I just don't understand that. And a little bit back to the conversation we were talking about.
Tony,
it's not. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's not. Who could probably end up giving me the most money if I transfer somewhere else.
I'm telling you.
And and believe me, there's things going on behind the scenes.
Oh yeah,
he just.
It's going to take a time. It's going to take a time to see who offered the most. Yeah. That's what it is right now.
Yeah, Tennessee secondary. It's going to need some work. It's completely an overhaul situation, and I think last Saturday in the orange and white game showed that they still got some work to do in the secondary and the offensive line. But Tony, is the offense back after taking a year off, from the year prior to that with Hendon Hooker and so forth, where we had the upbeat offense, the hurry. Last year, kind of indecisive and didn't have that momentum and that spark. And are we back to where we were 2 years ago?
Not quite. I mean, 2 years ago, that was really such a special team and special offensive unit right now. I just think they got some concerns. Well, one, building up the depth at the receiver position. Still, even though he had a really good game in the bowl game, still unproven at the quarterback position right now. And an offensive line is kind of shaky right now. So right now, I think their
offensive line is going to be the big concern. I think of the offense.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
It's going to be. We're going to get a little bit of a hint of how much of last year was the system and how much of it was the personnel. Because we only had 3 years to work with, and we knew what we were seeing last year was not the same as the first two.
Yeah.
Right. Personnel has a lot behind those successes and all that, and I think people realizing that 2 years ago it was a very special team that year.
Tony White, I don't think there's anybody here can answer this question any better. Which sport pays the best in NIL? Football or basketball?
With sports?
Yeah. Where's the money? Where's the most money for the top players going? Is it going to the football side or is it going to the basketball side?
Well, okay. It's basically like this. All right. Let's just be honest. Kentucky, right? They're basketball school. So, of course, all the money going to Kentucky basketball. And here at Tennessee, all right, come on now. Y'all know who feed the cow here. Come on, it's football.
Volleyball.
No.
Oh, my bad. My bad.
I mean, no, serious. It definitely should be the football. I mean, I think it's the football, but I think that with the excitement that with the basketball, it's up there. It's up there. But come on.
Yeah.
I'll say football.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah. And again, at Carson Newman, our NIL, we got half off of Bojangles on a Thursday. All right, but I don't like talking too much.
Okay. All right.
Tony, he makes it sound so bad. It's almost like you go to a football game up there, you feel like you got to take a canned good. Maybe some green beans.
Drop it off at the edge.
Yeah, drop it off for to help them out a little bit.
When I was in school, I would take that Thursday.
You take those canned goods.
Oh, man. What? Free food on Thursday. Oh, man, I'll be there.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah. Hey, it's time for a break, and when we return, it's the Boyd Sports Spotlight. As Goatee Sports Page veteran Donnie Moore will be You're listening to the Goatee Sports Page, and now stay tuned for the best in local sports.
Oh, man.
Since 1925, Anderson Lumber in Alcoa has proudly served and supported our local communities. But did you know Anderson Lumber is so much more than a lumber store? You can stop in anytime and see our incredible kitchen showroom. From floors to cabinets and everything in between, Anderson Lumber's experts can help you design your dream kitchen. And then our install team will make it a reality. Wow. For anything home, we welcome you to visit Anderson Lumber in Alcoa or shop over 67,000 items online at AndersonLumberCompany.com. Anderson Lumber, since 1925.
Aubrey's is known for real comfort, real food, real good. But remember, Aubrey's is also really into Blount County. Aubrey's Maryville has been a strong supporter of local schools and sports programs for more than 15 years. From baseball to football, dance teams, and marching bands, Aubrey's has helped schools and youth programs generate thousands of dollars. It's easy for us to do because it's the right thing to do. So the next time you're looking to choose a place to eat, we hope you'll choose Aubrey's. Real comfort, real food, real good. See what's on the menu at aubreysrestaurants.com.
We all want our loved ones to be safe. Denso in Maryville is at the forefront of creating technology for safer vehicles. Join the automotive industry with Denso in a fast, challenging, clean, and safe environment. They offer great benefits and competitive pay, as well as a convenient on-site healthcare facility, cafes, fitness center, and more. Start your future now. Entry-level production positions start at $16 an hour for second or third shift. Visit densocareers.com/Maryville to learn more and apply. Merlin's Music World in Maryville is owned and operated by Dylan Davis and has been a fixture in Maryville since 1987. Guitars, amplifiers, lessons, sound system, and video system installations are products available at Merlin's. Merlin's also offers a 24-track digital recording studio featuring audio engineer Rusty Chambers. Visit Merlin's at 1920 East Lamar Alexander Parkway or call 977-0093.
It's payday, and on payday, you want to have access to your money right away. When you enroll for direct deposit at Knoxville TVA Employees Credit Union, your money comes to you with no waiting. It's the fastest and most secure way to get paid. Getting set up is easy. All you need is your account number and our routing number. Find out more at tvacreditunion.com.
Join us now.
Federally insured by NCUA. Some restrictions apply. Ask for details.
Welcome back to the Blue Tick Tavern in downtown Maryville. This is Mike Edwards, and it's time for the Boyd's Sports Spotlight. And I'm going to turn it over to Donnie Moore. Donnie, we've been totally out of control here this morning, so we're going to turn it over to you to get some control back. Is that okay?
That's okay, Mike. We're about to fix things right now.
Donnie Moore, the calming influence.
That's a hint.
We're about to take care of business right now.
All right, good.
All right, we're going to kind of combine two segments right now in one and get things back on track. We're going to give you just a little bit of the Mandy B Street Realty local scoreboard and combine it with another segment here just shortly. I'll give you just the tail end of the Mandy B Street Realty local scoreboard. We've got one national letter of intent signed this week. Caroline Buchanan from Alcoa High School signed her letter of intent with Savannah College of Art and Design in Atlanta. Did you know there's actually 3 campuses of Savannah College of Art and Design?
And she's at
the Atlanta campus.
She's going to be playing tennis at the Atlanta campus.
Tennis, that's right.
But I believe she has some aspirations to at least do one semester at the campus in Paris, France.
Good, that's right. There is one in Savannah and one in Paris. That's true. That'd be a great move for her, wouldn't it, to get to go to Paris?
She's just a fantastic kid, and she's
is.
got so much going. It's such a good fit for her to go to SCAD because she's already got like her own little side businesses that she's been running with her fashion skills, sewing skills.
Cool.
But it's a great place, and she made the point that you can go to some of these schools and major in fashion, but it's one major. There's 50 subspecialties of fashion at SCAD, so she can do exactly what she wants to do and get the education she wants.
Well, they're an NAIA school, and they're called the Bees.
Yes.
So she can do a
She's going from the
lady shot down the.
That's a heck of a road trip going from Paris and playing all your games to those NAIA schools.
Yeah, she's going from the Lady T's to the Lady B's.
That's right, Lady T's to Lady B's. That's right. And one more thing I need to let you in on. This week, the Tennessee Sports Writers Association chose their all-state basketball teams, and Blount County was very fortunate to have 4 representatives on those teams. In girls selections, Alcoa senior forward Amelia Pfeiffer was named to that team. She has signed with Tennessee Tech. Congratulations to her. And Heritage junior guard Carson Swaney was also named to that all-state team. Congratulations. She committed to MTSU after her junior season, so no pressure on her this upcoming senior season.
Wow. Oh.
She's already committed to Middle Tennessee State University.
But if someone else a little bit bigger would happen to –
if they offer her more money, Tony.
I mean,
right.
That's congratulations to her.
Yeah,
congratulations.
But still,
whenever someone commits after a junior, that means, I'm committed now. But I
committed.
She's
committed.
Doesn't say she couldn't waffle.
Yes, she could.
Absolutely.
Congratulations to her.
Exactly. She's a great player.
Yeah, absolutely. No
she
doubt
really
about
is. And on the boys' side, the Tennessee Sports Writers Association All-State Basketball Team, we'd like to congratulate Alcoa senior point guard Javin Carter, signed with Penn State University, and also named Mr. Basketball this year for his classification.
Congratulations.
He's
that's
great.
Wonderful.
Great player. Great player.
Congratulations.
Just absolutely. And William Blunt senior guard forward Caden Wendell, also named to the All-State team for Class 4A. He signed with Johnson University, and they got an absolute steal this year. Johnson University did.
Those guys are going to be linked for a very long time. Yeah. When we start looking back on them, it's going to, and we do that a little bit with Angela Playo and Kate McMahon, even though they were not in the same class.
No,
they were separate. These guys were in the same class at different schools, and I think if we added up, there'd be almost 5,000 points between the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I mean.
We're not leading scorers in their respective classes.
We're not
at
going
their
to see
respective
scores
schools.
like that. That's a once in a lifetime thing.
Absolutely. These
guys. What school?
These guys could fill it up. Caden Wendell was at William Blunt.
Okay.
And Javin Carter was at Alcoa.
Okay.
both leading scorers in the histories of their schools.
Wow. Okay.
Absolutely could fill it up.
And let's say wrestling is going to be announced in tomorrow morning.
Okay.
It will come out. So
good.
And it is a selection process. We put some nominees out there that didn't make the final list, but there were some other players we thought deserved to be on that team, but that doesn't make it get them on the team just because we thought so.
Good. And okay, so that's a little bit of a condensed version of the Mandy B Street Realty local scoreboard. And now let's move on to sports headlines for the week, brought to you as always by Fast Signs. All right. Michigan and 5 former members of their football staff have reached an agreement with the NCAA Committee on Infractions for penalties regarding an ongoing investigation into coaching and recruiting violations committed by the program during the COVID-19 dead period. The school faced 4 Level 2 violations by the staff and a Level 1 violation against then-coach Jim Harbaugh. Those violations involve texting during the dead period, analysts performing on-field coaching, and coaches watching workouts over Zoom during the shutdown. Michigan also agreed the agreed violations constituted a violation of head coach responsibility after Harbaugh failed to cooperate with investigators. Imagine that.
Wow.
Michigan and its former staff agreed to several penalties as part of the agreement. They are: Michigan will serve 3 years probation. Michigan will pay a fine and face recruiting restrictions. And the coaches involved will face a 1-year show cause order.
Now where's Harbaugh?
Way to go out.
He has moved on to the NFL. He is with the Los Angeles Chargers.
Great job, NCAA. You have not been asleep for the last 4 years.
And when he did move on to the NFL, they dropped the investigation.
Yeah, you got him good, NCAA.
Yeah.
Wow.
Way to earn your salaries.
No
Good
kidding.
job.
Wow.
He put them off long enough to where he could, till they could win a national championship.
Yep.
So they won a national championship. He left.
And he left, and they
Michigan
dropped the investigation. They still got an investigation for Connor Stallions for signal stealing.
Is this like some bizarro version of Pirates of the Caribbean? Is this like the next script for them?
Yeah.
I'm like, we'll put you off. No. Don't look the other way. I'm gone.
This is the NCAA just showing, we are doing something. And
this is it.
They're the NFL
forget all the other bad rules that
you've allowed. This is what they got. 3 years probation,
Great
a fine, face recruiting restrictions, and all the coaches involved, those that are left, they'll face a 1-year show cause order. That's it.
Not much.
Slap on the wrist,
sort of
basically.
like an Indiana Jones movie. You remember the Indiana Jones? The guy had the swords, and he's going like this with him, and Indiana Jones is down there, and he thinks he's going to slice him all up, and Indiana Jones lets him go through all the motions like the NCAA. And then Michigan just pulls out a gun and shoots him. That's the end of it. Huh?
That's all I see.
So Michigan just kind of ended it.
Yeah.
And Harbaugh, he hightails it off.
Yeah. We're done. That Michigan says we're
and
done.
More money.
We're done stalling now. You can have it.
And more money.
It's like all those football violations that Tennessee had, what, about 70 of them?
Yeah.
I think 68 of them are legal now.
True.
NCAA, great.
Well,
that's the problem, waiting so long to get your investigations all finished.
Speaking of legal now, here are some rule changes coming up at the FBS level now. Beginning this coming season at the FBS level, coaches will be able to communicate with one player on the field by helmet communicator. That line of communication will be turned off with 15 seconds left on the play clock or when the ball is snapped, whichever occurs first. In addition,
don't do it.
Schools can now use tablets to review in-game video. 18 tablets will be allocated that can be utilized in the coaching booth, on the sideline, and in the locker rooms.
Those tablets are going to be very useful because it's going to help us steal the signals.
Right.
Well, that's the point of the point of the headsets is
don't do it.
If they're stealing the signals anyway, let's go ahead and put on a
Yeah.
headset so we can just tap in and
Let's
listen
make
to
it
what they're
legal
saying.
now.
Tony, are you budgeted for 18 tablets up there at Hartson?
Well, if we cut back on the Bojangles NIL, we'll be able to get a tablet, yes.
Also,
No, Tony, they're talking about Apple tablets. They're not talking about a little chalkboard.
Oh, so I don't need my floppy disk.
No.
Go ahead.
Also this season, head coaches may grant brief interviews with sideline reporters at the end of the first and third quarters of each game, not just at halftime. And there will be implementation of a 2-minute warning for both first half and end of game, just like the NFL. It's getting just like the NFL.
You know why? What's the reason why they're doing that? So they can go to commercial break.
Right. Yeah. It's for the TVs.
It's for TV.
It's for
That's
TV.
all it's
That's
they're
exactly
talking
why
about
it
how
is.
we got to go ahead and try to get
Please
this
the networks.
game faster and all that. That's all that is.
You better believe it.
Tony, y'all don't
No,
better
and
believe it.
what's the other one for? This Mandy B Street Realty sideline report is now available in the first, third, and fourth quarters.
Yes. Well, Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney, you ever heard of them? They meet tonight at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn for what was billed as the WBC World Super Lightweight Boxing Championship. Now, except for one small detail, Garcia failed to make the required weight of 140 pounds. And Haney is $1.5 million richer for it. Why? You see, on Thursday, the two fighters shook hands on a massive bet that each would owe the other $500,000 for every pound they were over the 140-pound contracted weight for tonight's fight. At the weigh-in yesterday, as Garcia stepped on the scale, he guzzled what appeared to be a beer. He later claimed it was apple juice and sparkling water. Well, the bottom line, Haney's weight was 140, Garcia's was 143.2 pounds.
Really? You got the larger one, large beers.
So he lost the bet.
Wow.
And so he's made good on his bet. He owed Haney $1.5 million, and he's paid up. Now, the 25-year-old Garcia has a record of 24-1 with 20 knockouts. Haney, also 25, is 31-0 with 15 KOs. He has a championship and $1.5 million of Garcia's money.
Not bad. Not a bad bet.
That's tonight.
Is that on ESPN or what?
I don't know what network it's
what-
on.
what-
It's
what?
a super lightweight, and it was a championship match, but not now. So I don't know whether they'll have it on a major network or not. On this day in sports, April 20th, 1912, Fenway Park opens. Red Sox beat the New York Highlanders 7-6 in 11 innings. 1912 also, Tiger Stadium opens. Detroit beats Cleveland 6-5.
Was it 1912 when the Titanic sunk too?
Yeah. It was. You're
Oh,
right.
Big year. Big year.
Just a week before. 1916, the Cubs play their first game in Weigman Park, which later became Wrigley Field. They beat the Reds 7-6. 1939, Ted Williams hit his first major league hit, got his first major league hit off Yanks future Hall of Famer Red Ruffing as the Yanks beat Boston 2-0 at Yankee Stadium on opening day. Boy, he got a lot of them, didn't he, Ted Williams? He was a great one.
And when you look at his careers, he lost about 5 years of his career in military service during World War II and in Korea.
Yeah.
I mean, what a records he's got.
He went to service.
I mean, he probably would have ended up being the home run king.
Oh, definitely.
1946,
the first baseball broadcast in Chicago. They broadcast the Cards versus the Cubs on this day in 1946. 1949, Bill Shoemaker wins his first race in Albany, California. Well, you talk about a great jockey now. Bill Shoemaker was a great jockey. 1967, Mets pitcher Tom Seaver wins his first game as the Mets beat the Cubs 6-1.
He's a great player.
You better believe it. He sure was. Jumping to 1982, the Braves become the first team to win the first 12 games of the season. Whew. Well, that was a good streak, wasn't it, to open a season with?
Yeah, sure.
1982. 1986, Michael Jordan sets an NBA playoff record with 63 points in the game, in one game. Great player.
Awesome.
Michael Jordan. 1988, the Orioles set a major league record for the worst start in a season. They went 0-14.
Wow.
That was the year Charlie was coaching in their farm system.
You think Charlie's listening?
He might not want to remember that. 1990, Pete Rose pleads guilty to hiding $300,000 in income. 1996, Chicago Bulls win a record 72 games in one season. 1997, Mark McGwire is the fourth player to homer on the top of Tiger Stadium left field roof. He joins three other players. You'll recognize all these names: Frank Howard, Harmon Killebrew, and Cecil Fielder.
Oh, yeah.
Man, those guys could hit it a ton, couldn't they?
McGuire, he was always all jacked up for one reason.
Yeah.
What?
Jacked
He
up.
was jacked up.
Are
Jacked up.
you trying to read between the lines?
Yeah, no.
Roided up.
Yeah, jacked up. Yeah, you're right, Tony.
All right, 2008. Mike, listen to this one. Danica Patrick, driving for Andretti Green Racing, wins the Indy Japan 300. She was the first female driver in history to win an IndyCar Series race.
Exactly. And she was in second place, and I think it was Helio Castroneves ran out of fuel.
Yep.
On the last lap or next to last lap.
Birthdays. Got a couple of birthdays for you here. I think three of them. 1945, born on April the 20th, Steve Spurrier. Yep. College Football Hall of Fame quarterback. Won the Heisman in 1966 at Florida. In NFL, played for the 49ers, coached at Florida, South Carolina, coached at the Washington Redskins, born in Miami Beach, Florida. 1961, born on this day, April 20th, Don Mattingly, Major League first baseman, six-time All-Star, American League Most Valuable Player in 1985, nine-time Gold Glove winner, three-time Silver Slugger, American League batting champion 1984, played for the Yanks, manager for the LA Dodgers and for the Miami Marlins, born in Evansville, Indiana.
Another Indiana boy.
Another Indiana boy.
The tradition continues.
That's in southern part, isn't it, Mike?
Yeah. Certainly is.
Born on this day, April 20th in 1971, VFL Allen Houston. Played for the New York Knicks and the Detroit Pistons, born in Louisville, Kentucky. And that'll be all for this week's Sports Headlines, brought to you, as always, by Fast Signs. Now let's bring the Boyd Sports Spotlight into sharp focus. Back to you, Gunner.
Hey, it's time to bring in our sports page crew once again. Donnie Moore, Marcus Fitzsimmons, and Carson Newman, assistant football coach Tony Aruli, and ball basketball great Tony White, and former Alcoa basketball standout Dwayne Easter, and I am Mike Edwards. And I guess maybe for most of you, but maybe not for Tony Aruli down there, but this past week we lost a great baseball player. There was a couple that passed away this week, but one in particular, Brooklyn Dodger pitcher Carl Erskine passed away. You remember Carl Erskine?
Yeah.
Sure 97 years old. Erskine played in the major leagues for 12 seasons, all with the Dodgers. And he pitched in 5 World Series for the Dodgers. The 1952 World Series, he pitched 11-inning complete game. He retired the last 19 hitters in a 6-5 win over the New York Yankees.
Wow.
His overall record was 122-78 with an ERA of 4 through 2 no-hitters. In 1953, he was 20-6. He pitched pitched a complete game in the 1953 World Series against the Yankees, striking out 14 guys.
Wow.
And the only players to surpass that have been Sandy Koufax. He had 15 strikeouts in the World Series, and Bob Gibson, who had 17 strikeouts. He's the last. He was the last living player of the Boys of Summer.
Yeah, I was going to ask you. Yeah.
The book they wrote about the Brooklyn Dodgers, and he dedicated his life to fighting for human rights. He was a voice for educational opportunities, and he was involved in the Special Olympics. Carl Erskine lived in Anderson, Indiana. He lived about 20 miles from where I grew up. He had 2 boys playing American Legion baseball. They were both outstanding players. Okay. One of them was, I believe, drafted by the Cincinnati Reds. I played against both of those guys, and we had the first-round pick of the Los Angeles Dodgers on our American Legion team. So we got to know Carl Erskine because he was promoting this player from our team for the Dodgers to sign. And after he left Brooklyn and came back, he elected, I think he went out and played a year and a half maybe when they went to Los Angeles, wasn't comfortable out there, retired at 32 and came back and worked as a banker and a real estate agent. And he was also a baseball coach at Anderson College, but he spent the rest of his life right there in Anderson. His first love really wasn't baseball, it was basketball. He played for the Anderson Indians. Of course, basketball is a big sport in Indiana, and his teammate was a guy named Jumpin' Johnny Wilson. And Jumpin' Johnny Wilson was a black athlete, prominent black player at the time, and him and Carl Erskine were the best of friends all through life, up until Johnny Wilson died here just a few years ago. But they had a great relationship, and a couple of things when he played there in Brooklyn, the fans they really couldn't pronounce his name. They called him Oiskin. Oiskin. So they he had a nickname Oinks when he played there.
But that's how people in Brooklyn naturally talk.
He had a son that was Down syndrome. Born Down syndrome, and they did Jimmy, and they didn't think he was going to live 10 years. And he lived 63, and they took care of him all those 63 years. And he just died in 2023, the boy did, and he worked at Applebee's there in Anderson, Indiana. But one story that I liked about him was that in 51, when the shot heard round the world, when Johnny Thompson hit the home run off of Ralph Branca to win the playoff game that the Dodgers and Giants were playing, Erskine was the guy that was supposed to come in from the bullpen. But his last pitch in the bullpen sailed over the catcher's head, and they decided to go with Branca.
Wow.
So he kind of survived that. And then I think in the 55 World Series, the final game, the Yankees that they played in Yankee Stadium, I think the Dodgers won the World Series in 55, and Tony, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was 55. They were going to go with Erskine to pick the final game, and they went with Johnny Padres. So two really great moments in baseball history that could have changed if Erskine had been had been the starter. But he got involved with Special Olympics, and he always told when he gave a speech, at the end of the speech he would pull out his World Series ring from 55, and then he would pull out his son's Special Olympics medal, and he'd say, okay, which one of these do you think means the most to me? And it was really a moving time, but he was a great individual. Our paths crossed a little bit about, I guess, 5 or 6 years ago. I got grandkids, got 2 grandkids.
Wow, okay.
They both play baseball over in, they were playing in South Carolina. Now they're playing in Virginia.
Okay.
And so I thought, well, heck, I wonder if Carl Erskine remembers, the times he came to Greenfield and so forth. And one of the players in Anderson, Rod Freeman, played at Vanderbilt. When I played here, he was on our all-star team when I played here at Tennessee. So I mentioned him and so forth, and sent a couple of baseballs up there for him to sign for my grandkids. Lo and behold, he sent those baseballs back and put everything on those baseballs he did. He put the 2 no-hitters, his World Series win, signed them and everything, wrote a nice letter. And it was really a special deal. But he was real good at playing the harmonica. He played the Star Spangled Banner at a lot of Pacer games with his harmonica. But he was if you go to Anderson, there's a statue of him there in Anderson, Indiana, and also one of Jumpin' Johnny Wilson.
Okay.
The basketball player. But a great story. He pitched the opening game in the Coliseum. When the Dodgers went to California, the stadium that they play in now was not available, so they played in the Los Angeles Coliseum. That first game in the Coliseum attracted 78,000 people.
Wow.
The opening game, and he pitched that opening game for the Dodgers out there in L.A. But he retired, and he pitched the entire career with a shoulder injury. His entire major league career, he pitched with a shoulder injury. But he was in the locker room. His locker was next to Jackie Robertson.
Oh, okay.
Jackie Robinson.
Wow.
And after one of the games that Erskine pitched, he was coming out of the stadium, and Jackie was there with his wife and his child. He was standing over here away from everybody, and there was a big crowd over here. And he called for, Carl saw him standing over there, and he went over there and shook his hand and everything. And Robinson goes, "Hey, I tell you what, it means a lot to me that you came over here and spoke to all of us in front of all these people because of all the things that Jackie went through as a player." And Carl looked at him and says, "Hey, I'm going to tell you something, Jackie." He said, "You can congratulate me all you want on when I pitch, but you don't ever have to say anything about me coming out here in public and being around you." He said, "I'm going to do that any way I can." And he was, along with Pee Wee Reese, Carl Erskine was one of the leaders on that Brooklyn Dodger team that really made Jackie Robinson feel at home during his time there from 1948. I think he played right up to 1956 or right before they went out to Los Angeles.
And I had a great experience with Pee Wee Reese. When after high school, I signed and played 1 year in junior college baseball in Florida. Pee Wee Reese's son, Mark Reese, was on our team.
Is that right?
And Pee Wee Reese would come down and watch. On Sundays, we'd throw batting practice to each other. So I'm on the mound, got done throwing pitches to Mark Reese. All of a sudden, Pee Wee comes up and says, "Hey, Tony, do you mind throwing me some pitches like this?" And it's like the scene from one of those baseball movies.
Yeah.
I'm pitching to Pee Wee Reese. I'm saying, like, do not hit him because he's always wearing just one of those little round golf hats like this.
Yeah.
And every ball he hit was just a line drive. He was just a great guy.
Yeah.
And all that.
Wow.
And Carl Erskine, especially what he did with Special Olympics. And,
I love the movie about Jackie Robinson and all he went through, and the other players were telling Pee Wee about what he says. Well, if he's good enough to beat me out, he's just good enough to beat me out. You know what I'm saying?
That was a great portrayal.
I don't come to me with all this aggravation. You know, I'm a pretty good player. He's better than me. You know, prove it.
It is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is.
And Pee Wee and Carl really stood behind Jackie Robinson when he first made the transition and all that. So.
Yeah. Hey, it's time for a break, and when we return, it's the Bowl Prediction segment. You're listening to the Goatee Sports page, and now stay tuned for the best in local sports.
The BlueTick Tavern is home to the tastiest pizza in Blount County. Try our signature Broadway barbecue pizza, grilled chicken and red onions covered in mounds of mozzarella. Or sink your teeth into our one-of-a-kind chicken and bacon pizza, made with an olive oil base, grilled chicken, bacon, red onions, and covered in Brussels petals. The BlueTick Tavern also has salads, sandwiches, and the area's largest beer selection. Regularly recognized as the best pizza in Blount County, it's the BlueTick Tavern, located at 128 West Broadway in downtown Maryville. Waters Equipment is your East Tennessee New Holland agriculture and construction dealer. Waters Equipment has been serving Blount County for 48 years and has 2 locations in Maryville for sales and service for New Holland equipment. Offering shop and field service for trucks and equipment of all brands, Waters offers equipment rentals for New Holland skid steer, Mini X, and tractors. Call 238-9000 for your rental needs. That's 238-9000. Waters Equipment New Holland. Excellence in service. For over 50 years and 3 generations, the people of Blount County have trusted Stevenson Tire with their vehicles and their families. Our mission has always been simple: to provide quality products at reasonable prices with exceptional customer service. Featuring tire products from Michelin, BF Goodrich, Uniroyal, Bridgestone, Firestone, and Yokohama, Stevenson Tire also offers alignment and brake services at affordable prices. Stevenson Tire Company, 2411 East Broadway Avenue in Maryville. Call 983-1621 or online at stevensontire.net. Your newspaper? That's right. The Daily Times is your newspaper, tailored to where you live, emphasizing the things that affect you and keeping track of the people and players in our community. The award-winning Daily Times can be delivered each morning right to your door or inbox with the latest in local news and sports. For a 30-day free trial offer, call 981-1100 and begin enjoying your life, your times, every day with the Daily Times. The Roger L. Newman Company began in 1984 with a vision of providing Blount County with excellent heating and cooling service. Mr. Newman also wanted a real business. No gimmicks and no high-pressure sales. They just fix it or replace it. They want to stay within your budget and make you comfortable. Their motto still stands true today. Call us first, we'll be there. Call Roger L. Newman Company at 982-5446 or visit online at rogerlnewman.com. Cooler temperatures are approaching. Upgrade your furnace now for as little as $50 a month.
Mike Edwards, and it's time for this week's Bowl Predictions segment. And I'm here with Donnie Moore, Marcus Fitzsimmons, Tony Iruli, Tony White, and Dwayne Easter. And I know we're kind of short of time here, but I do want to mention that Marcus, the Tennessee baseball team, is in a big 3-game series up in Lexington, Kentucky. And that Kentucky team, I think, is ranked 3rd in the country, and Tennessee is ranked 4th. So I'm sure they're drawing big crowds up there. Kentucky won yesterday's opening game, so they'll play today and tomorrow in that 3-game series. And Kentucky leads the East in the SEC. So
Tennessee was trying to make up some ground. Looked like they ran out of pitching last night because they had a lead going into the late innings, and Kentucky rallied and was able to get the win in Lexington. 2 more games, one tonight, one tomorrow afternoon. And ironically, it's not going to be them on SEC Network. It's going to be the Lady Vols and LSU series. It's going to be on SEC Network this weekend.
Tough league in the SEC this year. They got 8 teams in the top 25. 8 teams, SEC baseball teams.
You got 4 of the top 6.
Yes.
I mean, it's a
and that you got Texas A&M number 1 and Arkansas number 2 nationally, and Kentucky 3 and Tennessee 4. That's top 4 teams.
And when you kick in there that if you add Texas and Oklahoma, I mean, this league is going to be outstanding next season.
Yeah. Hey, my bowl predictions have to do with Caitlin Clark. So I'm going to, because I know we're a little bit limited to time here, so I'm going to give each one of you a question, and you give me the prediction, and I'll start with Tony White. Caitlin Clark's pro career, will it be equal or better than her college career?
Equal.
It will be equal. You're seeing as many points in that college career, and you're seeing her just going on forward.
Yeah, I'm not going to, because you'll be playing against professional players.
Yeah.
All professional, across the line.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's going to be tougher.
It's going to be tougher.
Yeah.
So I just say equal. I won't say better until she can prove me wrong.
Yeah, good enough. Dwayne, will Caitlin Clark better Pete Maravich and win a WNBA championship? Maravich never won a championship. Didn't win one in college, never won one in the pros. Indiana Fever, if you're wondering how many they've won, they have won one, 2012. So if you're comparing Caitlin Clark to Pete Maravich, is she Indiana's answer to championships?
I'm going to say no. And I think she'll have less success myself.
You think she'll have less success than Pete had as far
as
she can't have any less success as far as championships go because Pete didn't have any.
I'm saying as far as her scoring in college, I think it'll be less than the pros. So.
Okay.
Well, she's going to play now. Now she got to understand now she's a ticket.
Yeah, they've already sold all the tickets out to the Indiana Fever. They've sold the arena out.
She going to play a lot of minutes, man.
Oh, yeah.
She going to shoot a lot.
But she's going to be playing the better competition.
I know. That's why I'm just saying it won't be better. I'm just saying equal.
I think it'll be less.
See, he gave me a better or equal choice. Yeah. He didn't say less. See, he didn't say less.
Yeah. Equal's still pretty good.
Yeah, equal. I'm just saying equal because she's going to play a lot of minutes.
Yeah, I understand.
I said less.
Yeah. And shoot a lot of balls. Now, I'm just telling you.
Tony Iruli, let's talk about points in comparison to Pete Maravich. compared to them in college. Let's compare them in the pros now, okay? Going in. Will Caitlin Clark score more points than Pete Maravich in her pro career? Now, before you answer that question, Pete had a 10-year career. He scored 15,948 points.
Yeah, that's pretty. First of all, when you started this thing, you said
and he had the 3-point shot there.
Yeah,
you know.
at the end.
Yeah.
First of all, when you started this session, you said we're somewhat limited. Then you looked at me, so I was trying to read between the lines. I tend to agree that she's going to score her points. Will it be over and above what she did in college? I don't think so, but I think she's going to still do a great job of scoring the points. And
she's going to beat Maravich's 15,948.
Yes or no, Tom?
Yeah.
I would say yes.
Okay.
I would say because if I recall, Pete, he kind of tailed off the last 3-4 years of his career, if I recall. Yeah. He had scored a lot of points early on, but then he tailed off. But I think
but he didn't have the 3 though.
Yeah. Marcus, who's better off, the Indiana Fever franchise or Caitlin Clark? They're not paying her $338,000 for 4 years. That's $76,535 dollar-wise. Now, I know she's going to make a lot of money in endorsements, but who's better off, the Indiana Fever or Caitlin Clark in this?
Caitlin Clark's better off money-wise because she's got a deal coming with Nike. She's already got some endorsements. It's going to make her a millionaire. She's already pulling in $1 million as a senior in college.
No, she's already a millionaire.
So she's going to have a good career.
State Farm.
Indiana, the franchise is going to enjoy her. Now, the backlash from some of her deals and what that's going to translate to on the court, and whether people are going to gear up to stop her or play her more physically, that's going to be interesting to watch.
Yep. Hey, Donnie, we got first of all, I want to thank all of our Tony White and Dwayne Easter and Tony Iruli and all of you coming in today. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well,
y'all in here.
It's been great.
It's always a happening when you guys are here.
Yeah, but hey,
I enjoy.
She's with State Farm now, so she's making $1 million.
Yeah.
As long as they're insuring her in case she gets hurt.
I just enjoy being around smart, highly intelligent people.
You're coming to the wrong place.
Oh, man.
We'll try to find somebody here in the restaurant. Here.
Yeah, then I see the replay.
Hey, there's the whistle. Hey, that'll do it for today's edition of the Goatee Sports Page. Thanks to Aaron Ishmael. Back at Loud Media, our host, the BlueTick Tavern, and all our sponsors. For everyone here at the Goatee Sports Page, until next Saturday, this is Mike Edwards, the Greenfield Gunner, wishing everyone good sports.